Okay, next up is Najor. Najor M. Perez. So I would like to hear your opinion about my environments, assets, and weapons. I still have no job experience, and I'm looking for my first job. That's why there are not a lot of work. That's why there are not so much works. Okay, so it looks like we've got. Let's just go through. So these are your environments. You're currently in Hamburg, Germany. Okay, and Spain, or you're from here, but this is where you're at now. All right, so environment artist, but you've got looks like five environments. You've got some assets. You've got a weapon and some materials. If we hit all and we just kind of look at the whole shebang, it's you. Oh, I didn't know it's you, Mency. How you doing? Okay, so we look at this, and so right now your materials look quite stylized. I'm not sure if that's the intention. I'm just gonna say like how things feel. Right up front, I don't think you're ready to get into the industry yet, and I'll point out some key things that I think you can focus on in order to like go in that direction. So you have environments, assets or props, weapons, and materials. Figuring out which one you kind of want to focus down into is going to be really important, just because like specializing can help you, I guess, accelerate your understanding of modeling and materials. Whereas like if you're focusing on materials as their own, then you're just looking at how like Substance Designer, for example, works, and making those materials look right. So if you're a materials artist, you're really paying attention to generating those really accurate height maps, and specifically making really, really strong and accurate roughness maps. I would say height map and your roughness are the most important things about a material, and then it gets into the other maps to help support those two. Now, when you're doing environments, that's where like prop creation comes into play, and then you're building environments, and in the end, you'll end up making assets anyways if you're trying to make environments. Now, where you're at currently, I would say if I go to the assets, I would start at like the base and understand where things are breaking down. So if we look at modeling first, that's usually like if I had a curriculum, I would say just try and replicate things with modeling. And this is if you're a props, weapons artist, environment artist, replicating the surfaces and the shapes and just making them look as accurate as possible will get you to understand the 3D software, as well as like how to just create the shapes that you're looking for. What's up, Glitchy? How you doing? Once you can have an asset that looks like, without materials, looks exactly like the thing in reality, for example, the keyboard here, then you can move on to materials. Now, if I click on this keyboard, the keys are very flat, which I guess kind of works for this view, right? Because you're pretty far away from it. But I would definitely be bringing these keys up to even just get that ambient occlusion in there. Or be getting a normal map on there that really helps those shapes kind of pop out. But then the next thing I would say is once you've got the modeling down, and then it's really pushing materials. Once you understand how to model something and you've got your materials to a position where you're understanding how to replicate the same type of reaction materials have to lighting as they do in real life, if you're going down the realistic PBR route, then you'll have a model that's textured and looks good, right? And then you can place it in an environment. So right now what I'm seeing is low poly assets where like the edge here, you should definitely bevel that or not be able to count these edges here. So not being able to count these edges here, beveling these so they kind of look like the inside here. Understanding the materials for this one would be like how where the dirtiness forms. Like this dirtiness here, I can't really describe as to how that type of dirty happened to the surface, right? Whereas like if it's grounded down here, you're gonna have dirt that's like, I'm just gonna skip that song. You get the dirt that's at the base down here, right? But then you get some like dirtiness stuff that happens up here, either from trash that comes down and like misses or spills or something like that, or it's just from rain damage where leaking tends to occur. A lot of stuff that happens in this area is going to be like sun damage or bleaching if it's painted materials or like posters, for example. So thinking about how surfaces are affected by their environment in a realistic way is like a big key component into material creation. I guess you want to be an environment artist. I would really focus on one of these. If you did environments, you could do assets as well. But what I would suggest right now is nail down that modeling so that it looks really like this, for example, is another great example of like these edges. You can count them. Add more so you don't have to count, like so you can't see that. Maybe just doubling it and you'd be good. And then the next phase is the materials. Once you have those two and those props are really singing, then it's like, all right, let's build like a small, it doesn't have to be a huge scene, maybe like a little diorama, or like what's someone's closet look like? They open their closet and they have all the like puzzles and books and all that stuff kind of shoved in there. It's like a storage closet. That's a great way to build an asset library and make a small scene as well. But yes, beveling or chamfering, noodles on it. Do you have, so since you're in chat, do you have any questions before I hop over to the next portfolio? I would say Substance Painter, Ryan. No? No. No, thank you. I hope these are helpful. Half the time I'm just reacting like, oh, I see this thing is, yeah. Look at the environments. All right, let's pick one. So let's look at this one. Okay, so in this environment, right now it looks like a lot of things aren't textured, and it's just the danger of using a color that's very similar to a untextured surface, right? The other thing is when you use darker colors like this is to make sure they're inside of the PBR range. You don't want to go too dark. Would someone in chat be able to get a chart that shows like the PBR range so I don't burn too much time explaining it? But there's a range where you can go too bright, too saturated, or too dark. You're definitely missing like bounce lighting, so it's quite dark in here. And I'm not sure why this light is green. Oh wow, this is really long. You know, I've never commented on this, but I think if the description could be pared down, that would be really good. It's inspired by your university. Where is that? There we go. That kind of helps. Because coal, for example, in that chart, coal is really dark. And you can see its base color value is still not that dark. And snow is like the brightest thing you can, albedo-wise, that you can, like base color you can see. And it's not, like 255 is full white, correct? And snow is around 243. So thinking about like, okay, it needs to be, it's, again, I would say just having reference or perceiving materials with, or viewing materials with your own eyes and then replicating them and asking like, why do they look different? And what do I do to make it look closer to reality? The only other thing I think I would say is maybe like these really straight lines, while it might be that clean in real life, adding something there, propping or like a piece of paper that fell, or just to break these straight lines. We call these lines laser lines. You gotta watch out for those. So if you can do anything to break those up, that would be good. And this is a perfect case for a bevel again, right? Yeah, snow being 243 is super bright snow. Hey, creatures, how you doing? Oh, if we fly through this, I can give you, before I move on to the next portfolio, I'll just kind of give some feedback on this video and like some key things that you can do in order to make. Ooh, this is kind of creepy with the lights turning off like that. Oh, stay calm. Oh, see this. That type of propping, that's great for getting rid of those straight lines. Oh, so this is supposed to be kind of scary. That's why that light is... Huh. This is not your traditional video. Are these like surveillance shots? Oh, oh. I see. That's terrifying. Oh my god. Oh man. Okay, well. Yo, dude, not fast enough. That should happen way faster. You should almost have no time to think about it and just time to scream. Oh my god. I don't know. I have no critiques for this trailer now because it doesn't follow. The critiques I was going to give is the way that the shots transition. It's like, for example, this first shot, the camera starts moving after the shot turns on. You should be in full motion from the beginning if you can, just so that it doesn't slow down or speed up. Yeah, this is cool though. I think whenever you do camera motions that feel like they're supposed to be like surveillance cameras, you should definitely put the overlays on there. Like this shot. This is definitely a camera, right? But like, for example, this one, you have the overlays and the recording button and the battery. That tells you that you're viewing it through a camera. Oh, man. Good job on the ceiling. A lot of people ignore ceilings or they don't know what to do with them. Remember that some places will suspend a ceiling, so they'll bring it down like another meter or two, and then all of the piping stuff would happen on the inside or on the other side of it where you don't see it. It was a 3-day task. Dude, that's crazy. See, this is a walkway, right? And it's a high traffic area. This is probably exactly where they'd get a really long mat here. You know what I mean? Like a little walking mat that is all the way the length of this. Because that'll be a really good way to break up the ground and then also explain a little bit of the space. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff I could comment on, but I think focusing on your modeling and really making sure that you step away from the look of geometry and try to make the shapes as close to reality as possible without going crazy into the geometry. And then getting a stronger understanding of materials in the PBR range and like how to make them look more and more realistic with every piece you do. But yeah, cool. Okay, let me do this thing.